Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. I don't think that's right. You gotta have to say 136. There are 136 members present. The House is still in session. Petitions, memorials, and other papers. As a reminder, all members must wear your masks over your nose and mouth at all times in order to remain on the floor.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if I may. I'll wait.
Gentleman from Calvert.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to recognize the new House Minority Whip, my good friend from the Eastern Shore. I just wanted to recognize him. He's here today. And I also wanted to recognize the new House Minority Leader, my good friend, the gentleman from West Virginia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This doesn't look like Charleston, though, but thank you.
Okay. Report of the Committee on Rules and Executive Nominations. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 1, Congressional Districting Plan.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend the rules to allow 2 readings on one day. This bill is moving from first to second reader. And then my understanding is that later on it will be special ordered by the Minority Leader.
The question before the...
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend the rules to allow for 2 readings on one day, to move it from first to second reader, and then my understanding is a special order motion will be offered on it momentarily.
The question before the House is to allow the bill to have 2 readings on the same day. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? Not, the clerk will take the call. The rules have been suspended. Recognizing the committee chair.
Madam Speaker, I move that we special order House Bill. Whoa, what is going on?
Recognizing the committee chair.
My apologies, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, House Bill 1 is a bill that fulfills the General Assembly's constitutional duty to pass a new congressional districting map at the beginning of the new 10-year census period. Move the bill.
Question before the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill to its title? Recognizing the minority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We would like to request that this bill be special ordered for purposes of amendment until tomorrow's session with the agreement of the committee.
The question before the House is the special order House Bill 1 into the appropriate time tomorrow.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Bill has been special ordered until tomorrow. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 3, Montgomery County Board of Education Residence Districts Redistricting Plan, favorable.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to suspend the rules to allow 2 readings in a day.
Question for the House is to allow the bill to have 2 readings on the same day. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 122 votes, 94 that were needed, in the affirmative, the bill is on second reader.
And then we're here.
Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 4, Carroll County County Commissioner Districts Redistricting Plan, favorable.
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to suspend the rules to allow for 2 readings in the same day.
Question for the House is to allow the bill to have 2 readings in the same day. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 127 votes in the affirmative, the bill is now on second reading. Question for the House is the adoption of the favorable report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The favorable report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill to its title? Hearing none, the bill is ordered printed for third reading. Amendments to House rules. The clerk will read the amendments.
Rule 116.
Recognizing the parliamentarian.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have an amendment to the House rules at the desk. amendment number 673221/1.
We are not on 116, we're on the amendments to the House rules, which should be appearing on your laptop.
What do I read?
If you have your laptop with you.
Okay. Amendments to House Rules 597, 118, and 120 through 122 to add House Rule 5A and to repeal House Rule 119.
Recognizing the parliamentarian.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So much be considered the reading of the amendment.
So ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, the amendment before you to the House rules, they do two things. One is that they establish a pro forma session as part of our regular rules without the need for a simple resolution to be passed. This is the same pro forma process that we use in the 2021 regular session. So that means that the Speaker may call a pro forma session consisting of the Speaker, the Majority Leader, and the Minority Leader to conduct limited business of the House, including taking messages from the Governor and the Senate, committee assignments, etc. The amendment also states that a member is required to change their vote by providing written notice via the vote change form to the clerk's office. Again, this is the same process that we utilized during the regular session. Both of these amendments are practices that we utilized during the regular session in 2021, and we are just making them a part of our regular rules. Madam Speaker, I move these amendments to the House rules.
Question for the House is the adoption of the amendments. Recognizing the minority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to ask my friend from Montgomery County. So basically what we're saying is we're going to do the way we did them during the session that we had earlier this year, and that in particular, if you want to change your vote, you're no longer required or encouraged to have to stand up and say, I'd like to change my vote today. But my understanding is if you didn't vote, you said my button didn't work, as we all say, you still have to stand up and say that. But if you want to change your vote, rather than stand up and do that process, you can either submit the slip to the clerks while we're here, or you can do it electronically through written means within that calendar day. You can't wait more than one calendar day. If we're in session at 10 in the morning, you have till 12 at night. If you wait till 9 o'clock the next morning, you can't do it. Is that the basic parameter of the rules so that everyone understands?
That is exactly correct. I appreciate you reiterating it. And I do want to emphasize that just as our rules state now, it would still be in place that you have to change your vote in the same calendar day.
And during the pro forma sessions, that would prevent or eliminate the need for all 141 people to gather here some days for simply 10 or 15 minutes to really do the perfunctory business of the House, to pass a bill through, to assign to a committee. People would be allowed to not have to participate in that if we're not actually voting or debating anything of merit.
Right, that's exactly it. If any members want to attend, they're more than welcome. However,
no one's barred from coming into the chamber, but we're not
Right.
going to be doing anything that would actually affect someone's rights as a member. It would simply be to do the sort of the normal working business of the day rather than bring everyone in for that.
right, exactly. Very limited business.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from St. Mary's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A quick question for the floor leader on this. Parliamentarian. So to change your vote, you got to do that on the same day, correct? Did I hear that?
Yes.
So it can be to midnight, I'm guessing? Or does it have to be in the same calendar day?
Till midnight, I understand would be acceptable.
Second question is, do you have to show your ID to vote, to change your vote?
We don't have to show our ID on the floor to push our button, so no.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering the question.
Thank you.
Recognizing gentlelady from Howard.
Thank you. I want to be sure that I'm absolutely clear about this. What you're saying is that if you want to change your vote, you no longer have to stand up and say, I guess I have a problem with that, since we are now being broadcast to anyone who has the silly idea that they want to listen to us. All they will see is the vote on the board. they will not know people have changed their votes, and I think that's not very transparent.
Parliamentarian.
Thank you so much for the question and the discussion. As you know, until the votes, the clerks put the votes into the system, that's when our votes become official. So right now, when it comes to people voting, this form actually does make a lot of sense because it saves us time on the floor. And as you know, our voting records are public. So there isn't a way to mask any vote changes or to, sort of go around the process. And as you know, when someone changes their vote, it is visible that it was a vote change that was made. So that process will continue, and I think this is something that saves us time on the floor, whereas as you all know, there are times where we spend significant time on the floor doing vote changes. But just one last thing to add to make sure everyone is clear, with this change, if you are changing your vote, you would use the form. If your button doesn't work, you would need to stand up immediately. So I want to make sure that everyone understands the process. And thank you for the question.
Oh, thank you.
Madam Speaker. With,
Gentleman from Baltimore and Hartford.
The floor leader, please, for a question.
Sure, no problem.
Now, this sounds to me like a solution looking for a problem. What was the problem that existed for, over 100 years that it's been done the way it is? Why all of a sudden do we need to make this change? I agree with the good delegate. People could vote the way that they think people want them to vote, and then there's people on the floor here who have cameras who take pictures of the actual vote up there, and then the votes change later on. So, I don't understand what the problem was. Was there long discussions on what the problem was that we needed to make this change?
Thank you, Delegate. I think that all of us have experienced over the last year some changes that we made to how we operate, and we've realized that some of those changes that we've made actually make a lot of sense for them to be permanent, and this certainly is one of them. The main issue is that this does ease the burden on the clerks, and also, as I already mentioned, the vote is not official until the clerks record it. So our votes are still public. Anyone online can see if you have made a vote change. It's very clear that you changed your vote. So I think that when you ask about the solution that we are seeking, this is something that we utilized in the 2021 regular session. We realized that for the clerks and everyone, it seemed to work better, and that this is a practice that we think is best to continue.
Well, I thank you for the explanation. I'll be voting no on this. And we're here to work. We're not always here to make the job easier. We're here to work. So I don't think this is necessary, but thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Gentlelady from Carroll.
Thank you. I just had a question. So the way I understand this, thank you for the floor leader. The way I understand this, you can change your vote until midnight of the same day, whether it's email or turn a paper in. So I know that you can't change the outcome of a vote. So how will we determine if these late changes are coming in throughout the day into midnight? How will we determine whether it changes the outcome of the vote?
We can't change the outcome of the vote. Colleagues, as you know, you can do a vote change, but the outcome of a vote cannot be changed.
No, I understand that, but the point is, let's say you get 20 changes, and it changes the outcome. How are you going to determine at what point that person can't change their vote?
The clerks are able to manage that and would manage the process in terms of if a response would change the vote. I mean, our clerks have been managing this in real time on the floor for a number of years now. So they're more than capable of, via email, assessing the process and the responses that are coming through and being able to manage the process for us via email. It's a similar process where you're just changing it to a form, which is what we used during the 2021 session.
Thank you. So if we choose to stand up and say that we're changing our vote, are we still allowed to do that? To make it transparent, make it public? You make a mistake, and sometimes we make a mistake because we're reading our computer. So if we decide to change our vote, can we stand up and say, I want to change my vote just to make it transparent at that moment in time? Would that be acceptable?
You could do that if you would like. However, the form must be filled out.
The form must be what?
The form must be filled
Oh,
out for you to
absolutely.
do your change.
Got to fill out the form. I'm just worried about the waiting until midnight and not doing it during the calendar, not doing it timely, but so we can still stand up and change our vote.
Delegate, if you would like to do that, you are more than welcome.
I just want to make sure it gets recorded for posterity if we're going to.
That's no
Our
problem.
votes are very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And once again, if you do a vote change, it will be publicly recorded that you did the change, so everyone will know.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just one brief question for the parliamentarian. So I think I understand the rule change. I just have a simple question. Is there anywhere we could read this? I usually on a bill, we're able to read the amendment. I can't find this on the floor system. Is there anywhere we could read this? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, if I may.
Gentleman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. While I don't have the rule changes in front of me at the moment, I'm just wondering where it says in this House rule book that you can change the rules without telling us exactly how they're being changed in writing. Is that in there? It's the last page, yeah. I mean, it's a fair question. It just seems like it would be nice if we had them in writing. I mean, ideally, it'd be great to special order this rule change so that we can actually have a copy of it and read it as a caucus.
Recognizing Minority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I don't want to waste anybody's time tonight, and I think members of our caucus have raised some concerns that I think could probably be better explained to them. I don't want to hold throw sand in the gears, but perhaps if it won't affect anything, if we would special order it until tomorrow morning and then address it, maybe it would be easier to do.
Sure. Ms. Ford.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minority Leader. We do want to ensure that everyone has a chance to review these very, very simple rules changes that we've already had in practice during the 2021 regular session. So I am fine with special ordering this, and if we can special order it to tomorrow morning first session, we will go ahead and revisit.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
The request is to special order this rule change until tomorrow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill, well, not a bill, the rule change will take place tomorrow. Special order calendar. Vetoed House Bill 133. Clerk will read the bill.
I'll get it up.
House Bill 133, State Finance and Procurement Appropriation Reductions, Board of Public Works Budget Reduction Clarification Act.
Recognizing the Majority Leader, the maker of the motion.
My questions have been answered, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Question for the House. Shall the bill pass with notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Everyone recorded their vote. Clerk will call the roll. There being 95 votes in the affirmative, the special order bill has been overridden. Message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 133, 2021 regular session. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted.
I got it. If it's that one. That's the next one I have.
Special order calendar vetoed House Bill 464. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 464, Montgomery County Delegation and Prince George's County Delegations, Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, mandatory referral review.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All my many questions have been answered.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Clerk will call the roll. There being 96 votes in the affirmative, the bill has been overruled. Clerk, message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
The House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 464, 2021 regular session. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Special order calendar veto House Bill 933. The clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 933, Anne Arundel County Transfer Tax Housing Trust Special Revenue Fund.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My questions have been answered.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are
Madam
needed.
Speaker.
Recognizing the gentleman from Anne Arundel County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, colleagues, I know this is a local courtesy bill, and I apologize, but colleagues, I'm not gonna bore you with facts, figures, and historical data on why this is a bad bill. Regardless of whether it's my county executive or your county executive, to give greater taxing authority to any government official at this point is equivalent to giving whiskey and car keys to a teenager. Anne Arundel County, which we're talking about here, had $1.7 billion in revenue coming this year, $200 million that was not used. The problem I have with this is it was designed to help with affordable housing. But nowhere in this bill or any future bill with this county executive in Anne Arundel County does it say what it's really going to be used for. It's like giving a college student $50,000 and saying, I expect you to use this on college. Here's a check. Do you think they're really going to use it where they say they're going to use it? This does not help with affordable housing. This is a blank check with no parameters. And it's going to result in the same thing we always see. Just a complete lack of accountability and a lack of any kind of result that they really want. I know you guys don't want to be here. I just want to make that point. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also don't want to bore the body with some of the details, but I think this is worth repeating some of the issues that we as Anne Arundel County representative had with this bill. You know, when this bill came to delegation, it was debated. It was a bad bill to begin with. Unfortunately, it made it to the floor. I was glad that the governor vetoed it, and he vetoed it for a good reason. And one of these reasons was that we don't have a housing trust fund right now in Anne Arundel County, but the county executive has the authority, has the ability to do it today. He doesn't have to need to bill to do it. That's number one. But the most dangerous issue, what my colleague from Anne Arundel County just brought up, that we are writing a blank check to whoever the county council or the county executive is, and have them raise taxes and misappropriate it. Anne Arundel County does not have revenue problem, Anne Arundel County have spending problem, and we have the ability and we have the funds in our budget, we have surplus that we can use to create these funds. I urge you, as a common courtesy, for local courtesy, that to bring this bill back next year, and if you want to have this bill back up again and have it earmarked that it has to be used for housing fund, that's completely fine. An amendment was offered last session, it was shot down. So I urge you to sustain the governor's veto, and let's bring this bill back next year and we can discuss it and give it enough time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I won't belabor the point. I will just say that a amendment on this bill to cap that tax rate at 2% was killed in the Senate. And as a delegate that represents more rural areas, I have an extreme concern about the amount of money this will cost some of our family farms. It will have a direct and negative impact on those small businesses. They are businesses, they are family farms. They've been in business for decades. So I'm concerned about the direct and negative effect it will have on those industries. Thank you.
Okay. Any further debate? Hearing none, the question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Clerk will call the roll. There being 94 votes in the affirmative, the veto is overridden. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 933, 2021 regular session. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Special order calendar veto, House Bill 1003. The clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1003, State of Emergency, Emergency Procurement and Budget Amendment Notice and Authorization.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My questions have been answered.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 118 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1003 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 1003, 2021 regular session. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Special order calendar veto, House Bill 1091. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1091, State Procurement, Emergency and Expedited Procurements, Revisions and Reporting.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My questions have been answered.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 98 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1091 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 1091. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Special order calendar veto, House Bill 1209. The clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1209, Sales and Use Tax, Peer-to-Peer Car Sharing Alterations.
Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My questions on my own bill have been answered.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the chief executive? A green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 95 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1209 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of House Bill 1209. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Senate Bill 9, message from the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 9. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Okay. So, hearing no objection, the message is ordered journalized. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 9, State Employees, Collective Bargaining, Applicability, Bargaining Process, and Memorandums of Understanding.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the chief executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. Red vote sustains the veto. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 95 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 9 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of Senate Bill 9. Said bill is returned to the Senate herewith, having been enacted under Article 2, Section 17 of the Maryland Constitution.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Senate Bill 30, message from the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 30. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Okay. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 30, State Finance and Procurement, Appropriation Reductions, Board of Public Works Budget Reduction Clarification Act.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the chief executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. Red vote sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 96 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 30 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of Senate Bill 30. Said bill is returned to the Senate herewith, having been enacted under Article 2, Section 17 of the Maryland Constitution.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Senate Bill 780, message from the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 780. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 7080, States of Emergency, Emergency Procurement and Budget Amendment Notice and Authorization.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the chief executive? Green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. Red vote sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 118 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 780 has been overridden. Message to the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of Senate Bill 780. Said bill is returned to the Senate herewith, having been enacted under Article 2, Section 17 of the Maryland Constitution.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Senate Bill 829, message from the Senate. Clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate today, notwithstanding the objections of the governor, voted to override the veto on Senate Bill 829. Said bill is sent to you for your consideration.
Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 829, State Procurement, Emergency, and Expedited Procurements, Revisions, and Reporting.
Question for the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? A green vote overrides the governor's veto. 85 votes are needed. A red vote sustains the veto. Clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone like to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. What's my number? There will be 104 votes in the affirmative. The bill is overridden. It says 104 on here. 104. It says on my thing. Oh my goodness.
Calling.
What did I say? Huh? What do you say? Where did I leave off?
Clerk will read the message.
The clerk. Message to the Senate. The clerk will read the message.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates has voted to override the governor's veto of Senate Bill 829. Said bill is returned to the Senate herewith, having been enacted under Article 2, Section 17 of the Maryland Constitution.
Hearing no objection, the message is adopted. Okay. Special order calendar. Consent calendar of vetoed House bills, calendar number 1. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 2, Maryland Environmental Service Reform Act of 2021.
Recognizing Majority Leader.
But also just remind everyone, it's okay to vote rescue.
Madam Speaker, I have a motion here, but just for the clarification of the body, these are duplicative bills. So this is one of those few exciting moments where we all get to vote together to sustain a veto by the governor. So I move that the vote on the first bill on the list be considered the vote of all the bills on the calendar.
Okay. Okay. So ordered. Question before the House is, shall the bill pass notwithstanding the objections of the Chief Executive? A vote read sustains the veto. The clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, explain my vote.
Majority Leader.
Thanks. Just to remind everyone, this is a calendar of duplicative bills, so we can go ahead and sustain the veto on these.
A vote, remind you, a vote read sustains the veto. Okay, great. The clerk will call the roll. What's on yours? The vetoes are sustained. What do we got? That ends the work at the desk. All committee bill hearings are listed on the Maryland General Assembly website. Quorum call before. Excuse me. Huh? Gentlelady from Prince George's.
Good evening, colleagues. I just wanted to take a moment to inform you of the passing of former Senator and Delegate Nathaniel Exum from the 24th District. He passed away on this past Friday. To my knowledge, the arrangements have not yet been made, but I wanted to give you that information because he was a member of this chamber at one point. Thank you very much. For a long time, actually.
Recognizing the chair of the Republican caucus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Republican caucus will meet tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., room 145.
All righty. Any other meetings? Quorum call before adjournment.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. What's my number? There being 134 members present, the House is still in session, recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand recess until Tuesday, December 7th at 10 a.m. Legislative date, December 6th.